Welcome to Open House, Day 4, session, I lost count. We are here speaking with Ayoko from Industrial Design, and we're going to throw a little surprise twist. So we'll have a brief presentation, and then we're just going to send you to a Zoom room so you guys can meet some students and talk to Ayoko face-to-face. Which is really nice in times of Zooms and webinars and all this faceless talking. So I hope you guys are game for that. But if you have questions in the meantime, type them in the Q&A tab. We'll be happy to answer those. Okay, so let me see. We've still got people coming in, so let's give it another minute.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Are you going to be sharing your screen? Do you want to get that going?
Sure. One second.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Looks like we got quite a few folks here. So everybody, welcome again. We'll just start with some brief introductions. Molly Pettingill, Associate Director. You guys have been seeing me all over on these Zoom webinars if you've attended any of them. But I'm joined by the Graduate Program Director and Professor in Industrial Design. Ayoko, you wanted to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Molly, for hosting this. So I'm the Graduate Program Director of Industrial Design at RISD right now. My name is Ayako Takase. I'm a professor here. I teach both undergrad and grad, but I'm here to sort of introduce the program to you, and all of the information is available elsewhere on the RISD web. But I hope I'm covering sort of key information that you might want to know for considering to apply to our school, and I hope you do. And then after my session, which is about like 30 slides or so, we'd like to switch to more informal situation, the Zoom room where you can interact with a few grads, first and second years, and me, depending on how big the attendees are, we might break into break rooms, but we would love to answer some of the questions from personal experience from the grads and more administrative side from me. So hopefully that's very helpful for you. We are really excited to actually meet face to face because I'm actually talking to just a screen right now. Webinar is so weird. So I'd love to really meet one-on-one and put faces to people who are interested in this program.
Yeah, and I just put in the chat that I'll put that Zoom meeting link in once the presentation's over, so we can allow Ayoko some time to get over there, get it set up, and get you guys over there, but I'll remain here in case you have any questions.
Great.
And I'll pass it over to you.
All right. Okay, so we're just going to start. I'm going to cover a bunch of things, so it's going to be kind of fast, and I know that you can't quite interrupt me because we'll have way to, but hopefully you can take notes, and I will answer most of the questions. You can drop in chat, but I may not have time to answer in this Zoom. I will make sure that I will take notes and try to answer that, or if we have time, I will in this session. All right. Okay, so welcome to the Graduate Open House. I'm really happy that you're interested in our program. We have unique cohorts and program, and situated in Providence, Rhode Island, where I don't know if you visited, is also a unique place, and I hope you can visit. I know that you can't really travel, and this is best we could in terms of sort of like a virtual experience, but I hope you can get the sense of the program really well. So things you might want to know, I'm breaking up into Master of Industrial Design mission, and then we're going to go over curriculum. We're going to go over studio and thesis work examples. You might want to know that, and also facilities that we have and fellowship and sort of financial assistance that we have through different ways. And then we'll move on to a casual Q&A session in the other Zoom. All right, so MID mission. The RISD MID program is about building a bridge between your past practices and your future place. And this is really, really sort of special to us because we don't just accept strictly design background students. And this makes our program really unique, that everybody brings different background, interests, and experience, and makes this interdisciplinary place that's really rich in learning from each other, as well as sort of like expanding, your worldview through RISD. The ability to think and communicate across disciplines gives our graduate unique qualification to tackle interesting challenges in a complex world. And we explore design as a vehicle for addressing social, cultural, and environmental concerns. I get a lot of questions on, what kind of focus we have or what kind of jobs people may have when you graduate. I can attest to it that everybody who come here has really passionate goal in sort of making a difference in the world. So the goal of Master's Industrial Design program here is to educate designers to make society better. And that's really important to us. Strongly grounded in core ID practice and fully engaged in the future evolution of the field. We expect our graduate not only to challenge the professors and lead in new direction, profession and lead in new directions, but also act and impact in sort of wider world. Our graduates are positioned throughout the breadth of profession, working as entrepreneurs. A lot of people who graduate start their own company, and as leaders in major design firms, as strategists, innovators, researchers, educators, and also conceptual designers, and also in traditional industrial design field as well. Sorry. So I want to just walk through the curriculum a little bit. It might be really confusing that we have two separate programs. It's not really separate, but just the experience might be really separate. So we have a 2-year program as a core, but we also have an option for you to arrive half a year early, which makes it 2.5-year program is what we call it. And it is to prime those who are not accustomed to studio shop-based design practice before fully entering into the 2-year program. I think also the attraction of RISD, I don't know if you've observed this, but we are a very hands-on program where we, make ourselves physically interact with the material, object, tools, equipment, and make things to test things. We develop our own research methods, test things, really, really hands-on. So if you're not, even if you study the design-related focus, it might be a really unique experience. So if you don't have sort of a studio and shop-based practice before, you recommended that you spend this half year immersing outside of the core program, but also in studying also alongside undergraduates who go through more of a basic design practice and learn machinery, the material, the design principles, and get used to the RISD sort of the learning culture. So that's the half year if you were to come here for the first 1.5 year. And then the first year focuses in investigation, and it orients you to the program. And you do a lot of, like I said, research through making, research through developing your own research methods, but through experiments, engaging with audience, engaging with each other. So this is a lot of really fun time. You're introduced to different aspects of design, discursive, experimental, commercial, responsible. You learn all about industrial design and what may be of interest to you. And it's to expand sort of like your idea of how design is done, and you get to tackle from many different sides. So I'm going to explain just quickly the 2.5-year program, just the flow of things. So when you arrive in a winter session, you start in January, you get to take intro to industrial design. And it's sort of like, if you don't have industrial design background, this is a really quick crash course of what ID is about. And then in the spring, you will take more shop-driven courses where you get to work in the wood shop, metal shop, model shop to learn the machines. So you get the sort of basic training so you can pursue making very well moving forward. And you have a communication introduction, and we take serious time into writing. So writing is part of your expression. And if you can't express yourself, your design is not understood or heard. So you will be spending a lot of time writing, and it's about, you, again, just like making, you write and you think through it, you develop design. So it's a part of the research method. And then you get to take ID Advanced Studio, which is the undergrad course. So you would be studying side by side juniors and seniors. So you get this different perspective, but you will be learning from sort of, industrial design experts who've done many years of design education before, and it's a really fun place to be. And then you get to take electives or graduate seminars inside of the department and also outside of the department. This is the fun place. RISD is you can take glass blowing or ceramic wheel throwing to, intensive science fiction writing. Like, you can really choose your path. And I think it's maybe a little bit confusing to you how RISD curriculum is built because it's so independent, but it's designed so that you can build your own sort of path. And blue represented here is what you have to take, so it's a requirement, but everything else is structured so that you can really kind of, go through all the programs and classes available to you. And if you're interested in heavy making, you can take those courses. If you're interested in more intellectual and conceptual research, you can take more of that. And you can also supplement through Brown courses that are available to us as well. So the first year you are to take Graduate Studio 1 and then electives, grad seminars like I have mentioned. One grad seminar per throughout your stay, I think is the minimum, but you can take as many as you like, and those are catered towards graduate students. And these Graduate Studio 1 and Studio 2 covers many different ways to design. So first year, you are more discursive and speculative design, and you are experimenting, you're questioning, or you are identifying how to question things. And in spring, it becomes a little bit more concrete, and you are to tackle more socially responsible projects, but you are engaging with audience. So you are designing for people, human-centered design and approaches. And then second year, you move into thesis research, and this is where your thesis project kind of starts to culminate. And hopefully, you enter into the program, you have a rough idea or specific idea of what you want to pursue for thesis. But first year is really helping you through to navigate, and then second year is when you lock in, sit down, and really pursue your interest. And again, blue is required. So there's less flexibility in the second year. You really need to focus on thesis, but it's still, it gives you flexibility. And this block size kind of represent how many credits. So the one block of the smaller block is considered one class. And RISD has a really kind of strange way of calculating. And one class is 3 TU. So if you once accepted, you you will be going through this. So I'm not going to go through detail, but there's a required number of credits that you have to get, which is 15 credits divided by 3. So it's 5 courses or 4 courses and one meets twice a week. So that counts as 5. So all these things will be available to you. But again, if you think of it as sort of like a modular system where you building block, your basic required courses are already built, and the rest you have to independently design your courses. So to go over the second year, it's the you go through the research where you're identifying what your area of inquiries are, and you lock in and you sort of jump into a design. And thesis writing classes follow, and in the winter session, this is kind of special. You can supplement with the thesis open research class, but also you have opportunity to teach if you can propose a course that gets approved by a winter session committee. So this is a great time that you get paid to teach and you have the experience to teach. If you want to pursue sort of academic career, this is a great time to do this. And then you jump into thesis making, and you'll be not only developing entire thesis, but how to present thesis in exhibition and in your publication. So this is really kind of fast running 2.5 years, but it's packed with really amazing opportunities and experience. And this is a second year course, which is not much different, but as you can see, because you don't have that 0.5 year ahead, your fall semester is a little bit more kind of tight. So you have less option for the elective, but the rest is pretty similar in that it's a modular system. You build your semester for yourself and how you want to supplement your study. I'm going to go through examples of studio and thesis work. I'm going to go through first the thesis examples. This is what used to be. So before COVID, we couldn't meet in places. We had a convention center for a time and other places where students really took section of the exhibition space and designed and built everything for themselves to showcase their study of years of work. And so you needed to kind of, not only develop your work, but how to present it to public, just like I said. And it's open to public. It's a place where you can really show off your, time and sweat that you put into, and it's really nice place also to connect and a perspective. Employers, lots of academics come in, and these are just examples how in the past what it looks like. And I'm sure some of you have heard of her, but Charlotte McCurdy, who graduated in 2018. Her thesis went around and was accepted into the exhibition in Cooper Hewitt. She's been lecturing and participating in a lot of symposiums, bio design, and creating sort of products through like algae. She basically became a scientist in her home, developing and examining and experimenting throughout the years, and came up with this amazing thesis work that was immediately recognized. And it's sort of like a success story of our department. And other very different example is Stephen Yang and Ding, who just graduated. So industrial design is a place where you can explore many different disciplines within. So his interest was more of a user interface and user experience, where this project represented the different way to visualize the profile of on social media. So depending on the context and political views to the tones you use, all those factors could represent the point of view and who you are, and he tried to visualize in different way. So you can see, Donald Trump might look one way, and Bernie Sanders was contrasting, and he experimented. This is just an example, one part of his thesis, but he experimented through visualization, algorithm, and system design. It was really cool project. And this is an example of what you may produce from the sort of publication point of view. It may not be required now that you make a physical book, but you do have to compose a book, and you submit that to a library that lives in RISD library grad section. This is Rebecca Erde, 2019 graduate, who tackled destigmatizing mental health. And she, collaborated with illustrators and really communicated her thesis in a, captivating way. her focus was really building resiliency and trying to make being depressed or talking about the depression or any mental health issues normal. So it was important for her that the book reflects that. So this is, this is part of the storytelling journey and ways and methods that you might learn in thesis communication class. And to the right is just a few other examples of what the books may look like. And then jumping back, I have explained that the graduate studio one is where you experiment a lot and you sort of learn how to question, how to develop a question, and how to pose a question. It's not so much that you're designing objects, but you are designing the question and how to express it. So through discursive and experimental way, and also speculative design, you get to do really fun projects where Sunny, who is still at RISD, she is now second year pursuing thesis, tackled fast food and then sort of flipped the narrative and said, well, what if fast food had to be consumed slowly? And so this is her experiment sort of project to narrate, and she had many other examples like eating donuts slowly, but you know, it was not so much the project itself, but the narrative that she designed and sort of asking public a question. The other discursive design example is, again, this is Stevens. He developed series of pronunciation tools to help his native Chinese tongue speak like native, speak like native English speaker. And it was amazing if you could find the video and watch it on YouTube or somewhere. These tools look like, this like dental, I think, tools where he got inspirations from really work to manipulate his muscles and movement of the tongue to really make certain pronunciations. So he talked, he tackled each word and sound that was hard for him to pronounce, and he would use it to express. And it was about, the accents and dialects and but language as a whole. And collection was just really beautifully executed craft-wise as well, and showcased in the museum. Sorry, not the museum, the ID triennial show. This is another successful example. Hyun-suk designed the way to grow algae for food consumption at home. So he tackled this idea that people are really afraid to handle algae, although it's already proven to be a sort of superfood. So his challenge was to how to make it so that in home application, it's aesthetically pleasing, really easy to operate and harvest, and something that people want to have at home. So he tackled the whole modular system, and this was featured in Dutch Design Week and in other prominent design blogs and articles like Fast Company. And a lot of students also tackle more of the UI UX, sort of like app or user experience design. And Evan, after encountering the frustration that his professor had, he was TAing for his professor who had to switch from regular teaching to Zoom, and realized that Zoom really isn't designed for education and how we conduct classrooms and teaching and learning. So he went ahead and sort of designed this app called Academia, who was really centered around teachers' experience and students' experience. And he did a whole bunch of wireframe, designed it, built part of it. So this was part of the graduate 2 program assignment. And this is another example from grad 2 class where she was tackling sort of like a social issues where the religious topic is often considered a little bit of a taboo or challenging thing to tackle because it makes people vulnerable and sort of a sensitive issue, even to engage in the conversation. But she really wanted to challenge the norm of that and make the conversation different. So she focused on the younger female Muslim audience and created this prayer mat that gets tucked away most of the time to be a sort of like a decor piece at home. But she really incorporated many features that really is important in the process of prayers, iterated by actually prototyping and engaging with a people did prayers to sort of like a casual prayers. She did a lot of user research and testing and arrived at this like beautiful artifacts that she handcrafted herself. Another good example, if you could physically visit Providence, it's still up, I think, throughout this week, is that graduate students get to curate and put a show in the gallery here as a biannual. And the virtual walkthrough is available. I can drop that link later in the casual Q&A session. But this is all run by graduate students, and they, call for submission. They curate, come up with a theme, and produce the entirety of the show. So this is a really amazing opportunity for people to engage in exhibition design before you have to engage in the actual thesis exhibition. Okay, moving on to ID and MID facilities. You might have seen already the RISD facility on the website, or I don't know if you were able to visit virtually through the Grad open house. But so we have two buildings: industrial design building, what we call ID building, which is located on 161 South Main, so South Main Street. So we might call it that, or you may hear us referring to that. But that's the main building that has a sort of like undergrad and faculty offices. That's where industrial design studios are held, and major shops are also there: wood shop, metal shop, model shop, and digital shop. And then undergraduate have individual desk space. And CIT building is Center for, I forget the acronym, something technology building.
Integrative technology.
What was that?
Integrative technology.
Integrative technology building, yes. So this is where a lot of graduate programs from different major reside, and we occupy the second floor entirely. You have individual desk space there, classrooms are held, and we also have master's MID dedicated maker lab that you have access to, that has basic shop equipment machines and digital fabrication tools, so that you don't have to always migrate to the ID building to make things. Also, there are lots of other departments and shared facilities like wood shop, maker co-works, which has a lot of digital fabrication tools. But so this is the industrial design building to the left in the middle picture, the metal shop and a wood shop. We have really spacious and top-notch making spaces. And on the right top is where the CIT space used to look like, where people are sort of just, spreading, making a mess. And this is CIT makerspace. It's small, but it has very basic and necessary tools to make your project into prototype. We have MakerBot 3D printing, laser cutters, the simple things like vices, sewing machine, drill press, and dust collector so you can get dirty. And then this is the scenes from now. This is the second year and the first year collaborating to figure out the biannual show. But to the left and the right is how classes are held. It's well social distanced, and all the safety measures are placed, but people are still engaged in the studio. Okay, moving on to fellowship and assistantships and scholarships. Okay, 1 second. So we have, RISD provides various financial assistance for those who need it, and that's there are many tiers and many options. So this we get a lot of questions. So I'm going to try to answer, explain it. But even myself, I'm actually a new graduate program director and a little bit confused. So if I get facts wrong, Molly,
I
please.
can jump in.
All right. So MID fellowship. So each department has fellowship, which will offset the cost of attendance for graduate students in the form of financial aid, and you'll be awarded when you get accepted. And this is sort of like you can also navigate this through student financial services, and I've heard they're very helpful in uh, figuring the loans and fellowship and sort of like future planning. So I suggest that you engage with them once you're accepted. Um, so it gets paid towards the tuition directly into the tuition account. And other fellowships that are available, one is presidential fellowships, where you get a full tuition support and professional development opportunities to select graduate students. And this is by nomination. You don't have to do anything extra in the application or anything, but this is just, I think it's helpful for you to know that these opportunity exists. And not, I forget the number, Molly, 8 to 10 students.
Yeah, it's rough. Also, it's anywhere between 5 and 7. It really depends on the students.
Right. And this one is sort of like a subcategory of presidential fellowship. This is really new, building tall fellows. This new fellowship program it offers also full tuition and professional development, but it's for specific applicants. So first generation applicants, meaning first generation college applicants. It's not first generation to the United States. With a strong interest in environmental sustainability. So if you are identified that you qualify, you will be sort of moved to the pool who can be considered for this building tall fellow, and you get a full tuition support, which this is a great opportunity. And I'm really glad that this is happening so we can have people with less concerns for the future financially and focus on the study. And in addition to that, we have a lot of assistantships available. You have graduate assistantship, which is tied a little bit more to program or helping each other. So some of you may be assigned as a liaison, as a cultural liaison through the department or to the certain shops. So you bridge between faculty and grads and students and techs that run shops. Sometimes you're assigned as a sort of like a monitor for the makerspace, to communication team who create all the posters and lecture organizations, to so many different assistantships there for programs in department. And then you also have a teaching assistantship where you get to assist professors teach. And it's not just like, it's unlike, just getting coffee and making copies. You get to sometimes grade, you get to create content alongside or demos. It's really amazing opportunity for you to kind of learn from the being on the other side. If you're interested in teaching, this is a great opportunity. And research assistantship is also separate, where you get to assist the sort of research projects that professors are running. So you get a little design brief or project brief from professors, and you get to apply. And if you're selected, you get to study, and it's sort of like a professional internship, but you have very close relationship with the professor, and you get to engage and in a really interesting projects. And it's a really good way to build a relationship between respective professors as well. And these, pay is different as listed, but industrial design does not guarantee that you get a graduate assistantship. So some of the departments may say, okay, you get a fellowship for this amount, and you will also get the graduate assistantship. and at that point, you don't know what position it is, but we haven't been doing that. But we're in conversation with the financial service to try to shift so that at least for some positions can be offered at the admission so that it's easier for you to plan how much you might have throughout the year, because without knowing if you get it or not, I think the planning becomes hard. So we're trying to see if we could be more flexible moving forward. In addition, you have other scholarships and funds available through school, but specifically from industrial design department, we have a medical project related scholarship. So if you're studying health-oriented product design, you get a scholarship and you get to apply for the funds. And also you have ID Health Fund, where it's a material and project based, but we support those who are pursuing health-oriented product design again. And it could be really, really kind of stretched. It could be mental health, physical health, or maybe just, feeling good while you're studying. Just like you can really stretch this, but if you actually create a proposal, we have funds to support many students through this fund for materials to pursue the project that you want to, make a prototype or test or do a research. So these are great opportunities. And then there are school-wide materials fund to other fellowship and Maharam internship fund. There are a bunch of them if you look for it. So hopefully these will be enticing for you. And that's it for just the official presentation. I see a question here.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna push that over to the Zoom session. I think it'd be helpful for them to just talk to you about that, because I'm sure everybody else. So everybody who has a question right now, just hold on to that. We're gonna push you on over to the Zoom session. All you have to do is follow this link that I just put in the chat, and you will leave this session. If you want to stay, you have any questions about admissions, I'm happy to help. But otherwise, Ayoko and the grad students will see you on the meeting end of it. And thank you all so much for coming. This was really informative.
The last one, the MID program is not STEM eligible. Its undergrad program is STEM eligible, but the MID is not. That's a quick question, so I just answered.
Quick question.
Okay. So hope to see you over there. We can do a Q&A.
Yeah, go ahead and head over, and I will. I'll take any of the leftover questions here.
All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. All right. Well, thank you for coming, and hope to see you in the other Zoom room. Okay, bye.
All right, so we do have an assistant question. If you want, you can stay and I can help you with that. Or you can just raise your hand and I'll unmute you, and then you can ask me a question if you have one about admissions. Otherwise, go over to the Zoom room and meet some grad students and ask them. But again, I'm happy to answer your questions. Just raise your hand and I'll call on you. Again, I'm going to put the Zoom link in the chat right at the bottom. Type the answer to those of you that have asked. You just follow the link that I provided there. It will ask you if you want to leave this one and join that one, and you just say yes. Is this program STEM designated? So Ayuka just mentioned it is not. The Master's Industrial Design program is not yet eligible, but the undergrad program is. So just a few of you here. And if you're here and you have questions, shout them out or raise your hand type your questions. I'll be here for a couple more minutes. If you guys are having issues getting into the, not allow you guys to talk, so that if you want to ask me questions, you can.
Hi, can you hear me?
I certainly can.
Hello. I'm having trouble getting into the other link. I was wondering if you could drop it down again.
Yep.
Thank you.
Here, I can just send it to you privately. 1 second.
Thank you.
Yep.
Cool, I just got it. Thank you.
No problem. All right, last two questions that I can help with. Otherwise, having issues getting into the Zoom, let me know. I'll try to help you. You know, if you guys have any questions, you can always email us at admissions@risd.edu. But the Zoom link is there. You can always email us if you don't get the Zoom link, and we can give it to you then. But this session is going to close unless you guys just want to talk out loud. Okay, so go ahead and email us if you are having trouble getting over to the Zoom meeting with grad students. Otherwise, we will hopefully see you soon. Thank you.